Well, someone's got to break the ice, and it might as well be me.
1985's Clue takes place at the mansion from the Scooby-Doo opening credits and follows a dinner party that goes awry when one of the guests is revealed to be blackmailing all of the others. This causes some understandable animosity that results in the blackmailer being killed about 10 minutes after his identity is revealed. The DVD for the film suggests that as the bodies pile up, so do the laughs, which, while macabre, certainly encapsulates the tone of Clue. Murder, but make it funny.
I am your singing telegram.
Humor about murder, at least in the 70s and 80s, seemed to translate to slapstick comedy, like Weekend at Bernie's or 9 to 5. Nobody at the time seemed to want to make a movie that felt too real, so don't expect any sort of blood or gore in Clue. Screenwriter John Landis had previously worked on Animal House and The Blues Brothers, and seemed to take a similar madcap approach to penning the script for Clue. The tone of Clue is really brought home by a talented group of comedic players, which includes Tim Curry, Madeline Kahn, and Christopher Lloyd. It also features a very heavy-handed pseudo-horror score from frequent Mel Brooks collaborator John Morris that reads as pure Hitchcockian parody. Just get a load of this absurd opening title sequence. But despite the comedic prowess at play, the film failed to make back its budget on release, only growing a cult following in later years. Even though I'm a fan of the film, I can say there are three main issues that could account for this initial failure. The first, and most blatant, is that the movie requires multiple viewings to fully enjoy. Fans of the show Arrested Development, at least the first 3 seasons, will appreciate that certain jokes you're only gonna get on that second viewing. There are a lot of throwaway lines in Clue that come quick and fast, and as a theater goer, you're probably not gonna catch them all. They make great gags on rewatches, but the audience at the time of release most likely didn't catch every nuanced innuendo. The second issue is that, as something of a marketing ploy, Clue was written to have 3 possible endings, and each theater only had one. There's a reason that multiple storylines only really end up on DVD bonus features. Audiences like the sanctity of a linear storyline. When you jump around a lot in the timeline, you either get it pretty right, like Back to the Future, or very wrong, like Cloud Atlas. Giving viewers multiple potential villains or outcomes may sound like a great idea, but your audience is always going to want to know which is the real one. The third and last issue with Clue is that the pacing is a bit all over the place. Great build up in the early scenes collapses at the end of Act 2, when Wadsworth begins running down how the murders were committed. This is typically where I start to tune out. The script starts to show you less and tell you a heck of a lot more. Those critiques mentioned, the movie is overall a pretty solid comedy. It has the frantic energy of a Billy Wilder film, like Some Like It Hot, and really makes its 1950s time period feel lived in, with cracks about communism and an eclectic wardrobe that gives each character distinct personality. It also uses popular songs from that era to great effect, namely the crew cut rendition of Shaboom during a party scene where the dead bodies are made to look like they're, well, very much alive.
Officer, I don't think you should go in there.
Why not?
Because it's all too shocking.
Oh, life could be a dream if I could take you up in paradise up above. If you would tell me I'm the only one that you love, life could be a dream, sweetheart. Hello, hello again, shaboom, and hope we'll meet again. Oh, life could be a dream.
Anyone who has seen David Lynch's Blue Velvet will recognize the art of taking a song generally associated with innocence and overlaying it with a story that is quite the opposite. Shaboom and earlier Bill Haley's Shake, Rattle, and Roll established this paradox between what we have come to understand about the 50s, drive-ins, greasers, conservative ideals, and lampoons that expectation by having it be the soundtrack to such debauchery and mayhem. Knowing the cast's other movies, which include This Is Spinal Tap and The Rocky Horror Picture Show, one might think this set was an improv-laden, lighthearted fare. But the truth is actually far from that. Eileen Brennan, who played Mrs. Peacock, and Madeline Kahn, who starred as Mrs. White, had worked on projects before, but hardly communicated on this set, as everyone more or less dutifully said their lines and moved on to the next take. The only real moment of improv came here, from Mrs. White towards the end of the film.
You weren't jealous that your husband was stopping Yvette. That's why you killed him, too.
Yes. Yes, I did it. I killed Yvette. I hated her so much. It flames on the side of my face, breathing, heaving breath.
It's a testament to the script's surprising intricacy that so many of the jokes land. The scene in the study at the beginning of the film builds each character's alias persona and gives them a compelling reason for why each could have committed the murders.
That's what we're trying to find out. We're trying to find out who killed him, and where, and with what.
Clue's massive cult following can largely be attributed to the cast, which featured a generation's collection of comedy stars, innocuous performers that never lost the public's respect. Frame their efforts to the backdrop of John Landis' biting script and Jonathan Lynn's playful direction makes Clue one of the best whodunit farces in existence, which must owe to why it is currently in the process of being remade. It's pretty safe to say that this remake is gonna fall flat, like that ill-advised reboot of Arthur in 2011. Hollywood sometimes has great difficulty coming to terms with the fact that certain jokes and concepts only really work that one time. And if you've seen Clue and are looking for something else like it, I'd recommend Colin Higgins' Foul Play with Chevy Chase and Goldie Hawn. If you're looking for a film that was made about the same time as Clue and has a similar vibe.
How about that music?
Fine.
Great beat.
And for a more modern film, 2018's Game Night with Jason Bateman and Rachel McAdams is also an amazing comedy. Thank you for tuning in to 4 on 5, where we cover music, movies, and entertainment. We'll catch you next time.
Excuse me, I have to, is there a little girl's room in the hall?
Oui, oui, madame.
No, I just want to powder my nose, thank you.